Hello, people of Connecticut. My name is Selena Rifkin. I am here with aka John Anderson. We call him both things, depending on the moment. And I hope everyone's having a fantastic week. And there's lots of exciting things going on. And we have a lot to talk about today. So Jason is enjoying a day off from podcasting, assuming, well, at least with us. I don't know what he's doing on his own because he does things. So um, I, he does. We never know what he's doing. He's out there playing his ukulele and
Yeah.
oh. Jay, I don't know if you know, but I have a friend who follows the podcast, and he said that he wanted Jason to do a ukulele version of Tiptoe Through the Tulips, and
Mhm.
so we have some feedback on that. In case you're bothering to watch this at some point, Jason, he says that you need to practice the squeaky voice a little bit more. You don't sound enough like Tiny Tim, so that's the feedback. So on that note, I know that Jay had something he was specifically bringing to the table today.
Yes. Well, f for starters, I'm just glad that there's not going to be confusion about who's Jay this week. Uh, that'll be nice. And then I wanted to talk a little bit about the sports history in Connecticut and how, I saw during, what is it, the winter, the outside hockey games that they do for the NHL.
Hmm.
Um, there was like a lot of buzz about it, and then I saw a post from the Carolina Hurricanes, who used to be the Hartford Whalers, and they were doing a throwback night where they were gonna wear the old Hartford Whalers jerseys,
Oh,
and play the Brass Bonanza, which was the theme song written and recorded for the Hartford Whalers. And it hit me in kind of a sour spot, because Connecticut has had this history of we had an NHL team, we were gonna get the New England Patriots, and then we
where?
lost.
Okay, I didn't know anything.
Yeah. Well,
I am not a
Adrian,
sports person, so you're everything you're telling me is completely new. So,
gotcha. So, I don't know if how familiar you are with Hartford, but Adrian's Landing
mm,
was gonna be the proposed spot for what is now Gillette Stadium in Foxborough, Massachusetts, and Rensselaer Field was actually paid for by the Crafts because the state of Connecticut sued him and won after he pulled the rug out from under us.
oh, well,
Yeah,
that.
yeah. So we have him to thank for UConn football stadium outside of Pratt and Whitney. But it just goes to a further identity crisis that we've had in this state where we have people that are Yankees fans, Red Sox fans,
Mm,
Giants fans, Patriots
oh,
fans, Celtics, Knicks, etc. And there's no one alignment with the population in
mm,
Connecticut,
hmm.
and having a team like the Whalers here, it gave us our own thing, right? We
Yeah.
weren't Bruins fans, we weren't Knicks or sorry, Rangers fans, we were Whalers fans.
Wow.
And we lost them because the state didn't want to help uplift the XL Center or wherever they were playing. I forget the name of the stadium.
When was
Now
this?
this
When did
was
this all go down?
late 90s.
Okay.
So 1997 they left Hartford for Carolina. And which it's kind of weird because if you look at the history of hockey, most of the warm weather cities have struggled to get attendance. And then you look at the cold weather cities like Boston, New
Mm-hmm.
York, uh, even St. Paul, in Minneapolis, the Twin Cities. They have always gotten the fans out there because hockey is just it's huge in the cold weather states. We had Yale and Quinnipiac both go to a national championship in hockey for college. We have
Mm-hmm.
UConn growing their hockey program where they were at one point, I believe they were top 10 in the country this year.
Mm-hmm.
Then we have Sacred Heart, who just spent around $75 million on building their hockey stadium on campus
Mm-hmm.
back in 2023, 2024. And then obviously we have the Mohegan Sun, right, which is our professional team for the WNBA. Now, there's talk that they're going to move because the tribe wants to sell them, and it was going to be the most lucrative deal in the WNBA history for a franchise. It was going to be like a little over $300 million. Fortunately, the NBA blocked it because Hartford wasn't on the request for an expansion team, and neither was Boston.
Mhm.
And those were the two areas where they were going to move the team to. So, and the only reason they were going to move it to Hartford was because somebody in Connecticut was like, "I want to buy that. I want to keep them in the state."
Mhm.
Because like me, he's under the impression that we need professional sports in the state. We've seen how good our college athletics have done on the national stage. Never mind from a branding perspective, like the Yukon Huskies.
Mhm.
Women's national championships 12 times over. Men have now won, what, six, going for number seven this year. We've got a lot of focus on our state from sports, and this notion that, well, we're just between New York and Boston, it's such bullshit to me. We had a professional team. If they had done the improvements to the stadium, people would continuously buy tickets, right? When the state would rather say, screw you, walk. We're not going to give you any taxpayer money. I believe me, I get it from I don't like my taxes going to wasteful stuff, but I think when it comes to sports drives so much to the state. It,
Mhm.
it not only gives us an identity, but from an economic standpoint, you're talking about all these fans from around the country coming in to watch their team play against us, which is hotels, restaurants, etc. You could really revitalize Hartford beyond what it was eventually revitalized to in the about 10, 15 years ago in the area where the XL Center, or I believe it's now like the People's Bank Center is. They've spent a lot of money trying to reinvest and get that area nice. But if we had a sports team here from the 90s on, you would have seen that money coming in naturally through these sales taxes and
Mhm.
hotel taxes, and it would have expedited the process. And I saw that it was not Malloy, it was Lamont who tried to talk to the NHL about getting the Utah hockey team. It was Arizona lost their team. The team ended up moving to Utah. But before they moved to Utah, he had reached out and tried to get them to come to the state of Connecticut, saying
Mhm.
that we deserve the team. But from what I understand, it was a weak presentation, and it was more of I'm just saying it to say it on Twitter, so it's like a talking point. There
Right.
was no actual substance to it.
Mhm.
And I mean, I don't know how you feel about sports, but for me personally, I think it's time that we go and we get an expansion team in one of these leagues to show the rest of the country that not only are we passionate about all these different sports, but we will show up as long
Mhm.
as there's a reason to show up. And that comes from a team that is winning or on the verge of winning, and the place that we're going is going to be a nice facility that we can
Mhm.
enjoy and not feel like we're going to get shot outside of or stabbed outside of, which has been known to happen.
It's important.
Yeah. Yeah.
Important. Yeah, I'm not, not a sports person. My husband's a Giants fan.
Hmm.
And so I know way more. It's like if I know about any sport, it's football because he's my husband. And so I ask him questions about sports, even when it's like there's all sorts of things I have no idea what I'm actually asking, but I ask because I am a loving wife and I want to know what he thinks about whatever it is he's talking about.
Hmm.
That being said, I get how useful this could be for helping, unify people in Connecticut. One of the things, and I know you've got something else to add to, what we're talking about today, is that something like sports or, even just general entertainment, but sports in particular, and people bond over this.
Hmm.
And we have 169 towns in Connecticut. And how cool would it be if you have people from different towns coming together that you have this thing to talk about. I mean, I've seen what happens with football fans. I've seen how they're like, "Oh yeah, we're together, we're a team." And I love that. It's just, it's a really cool thing. And,
Hmm.
and just the whole sports thing aside, which is, it's just, it's pretty cool stuff. If I'm going to be a fan of anything, it's probably going to be hockey. Um, Grew up in Philadelphia, Flyers.
Flyers. Okay.
Yeah, sorry, all those Stanley Cups. What can I say? Um, so yeah, so I mean, it is, it's kind of aggressive, and I kind of like aggressive things. So
Oh yeah, absolutely.
it's all good. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was very funny when I moved from California to Maine, and it's like everybody seemed to play hockey. I was like, well,
Hmm.
that's interesting.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, it's like my training partner at the karate school was like he was just coaching, and I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
So
Well, and what's nice is like Connecticut has a lot of really talented athletes now that are coming out
mhm,
of the state going into the Division I athletics and then
mhm.
getting
It'd
drafted.
be
Like
nice if there was a place here that they could go.
right, right. Well, not only that, but it'd be nice if we built a Hall of Fame for Connecticut athletes.
Oh, wouldn't that be nice?
It would just be kind of like a hey, these athletes
Hmm.
helped progress their sports, helped progress Connecticut athletics. I mean,
Hmm.
we've got players like I don't, are you a Mets fan? If you're a Rangers fan?
No.
No, okay. Well, there's been a slew of Cy Young winning pitchers coming out of the state of Connecticut. There's been George Springer who won a couple World Series for the Houston Astros, who is now playing for the Toronto Blue Jays. He's from Connecticut. He's from New Britain. He
Hmm.
went to UConn, one of the first round draft picks out of UConn, or I don't know if he was a first round draft pick, but he was a very high pick in that draft.
Hmm.
And he's still active in the MLB as a perennial All Star. There's other players that have played for the Diamondbacks in recent years that have won World Series. Like we've got a history. I mean, even my school, Bill Romanowski won 4 Super Bowls. That's out of Rockville High School. He played for, I believe, the Raiders
Hmm.
or the Broncos, and I forget the other team. But we've had talented athletes coming out of the state, and we've what I've seen is the prep schools are really investing in getting out of state
Hmm.
athletes into the school systems here for those private kind of prep school leagues that they have.
Hmm.
And Putnam, Connecticut has a very prestigious athletic program when it comes to basketball where you're getting 4 or 5 star recruits regularly. They're going and winning national championships in the prep league against
Hmm.
various other states. So we've seen the development of athletics here, and I think the misnomer is that Connecticut's a small market. Well, it's only a small market if you look at Hartford individually or New Haven individually.
Hmm.
Since our state is so small, and what I've realized is people are willing to drive an hour and a half to 2 hours to go to a Yankees or a Red Sox game. Well,
Hmm.
what makes us think that people aren't going to drive from Greenwich up to Hartford or from
Seriously.
Putnam down to Hartford to watch a team? Like we've got to stop looking at it as like, oh, it's just Hartford versus
New England is not that big. And
right.
if you had fans from New Hampshire, it is not that far of a drive from New Hampshire down to Hartford.
Right, right.
You
And
know?
and just like the amount of people that are going to the New England Patriots from
Mhm.
New England, right? We don't need to label it Hartford. We can label it New England or Connecticut in general, and it's all encompassing.
Sure.
And and when we look at the Hartford New Haven market, it's actually number 33 in the country for sports. So we're above a lot of the cities uh, that are getting professional expansion teams right now. And that is what really irks me is why hasn't anybody come in and given a presentation and really wowed the socks off of one of the league commissioners about
Mhm.
getting a team here? Because imagine you have a sports team and then you've got jobs that come with that sports team and then because the tourism is bringing so many people to the area all of a sudden all these small businesses are starting to grow and then they become a little bit bigger than small businesses and then you're talking about extra jobs here like the trickle down from having a sports team results in more money and more jobs and more opportunity in general for the state and I really don't understand why there isn't a commission that is working for the state on trying to get a professional sports team interested in coming here. And if that means that we have to invest some tax money into getting a team here, by all means, because what we've seen is in a lot of the red states, most of these governments are paying billions of dollars for stadiums.
Mhm.
We don't necessarily need to do that, but we could chip in. And if you look at those red states with those blue cities, they're making way more money than they were prior to having an athletic team there. So it's an investment that we need to do. I understand the optics of it, but when you look at it on a national scale, pretty much everybody's getting tax dollars to cover sports teams now when it comes to facilities and everything else. And if the state does pay for it, there's more than just sports things that you can do at a stadium. You can do concerts, you can do large events. They
Mhm.
can get their money back through non-sports activities
Mhm.
fairly quickly. So, and again, that's just more tourism, right? That's like,
Mhm.
okay, so we're gonna have Taylor Swift come through Hartford, right? And
Right.
she's only doing stadium, so we get Taylor Swift to do a stadium. Look at how many people are going to come with that, right? And that's just one-off situations where you could have a Harry Styles or even a Paul McCartney if he was still touring. Like you could have a lot of comedians and everybody else come through and use the stadium throughout the year when the teams are not playing there, and it's just going to generate more tourism and more money across the board. So
Mhm.
it's for me it's a win-win. It's not just about the team, but it's about having the facilities there. And they've tried with the Rensselaer Field, but I think Rensselaer Field is poorly run. They need to do massive updates to it, and it's kind of a small stadium to the point where it's only about 35 to 40,000 people that can go there. And when you think of football stadiums in the U.S., you're thinking 65 to
Mhm.
100,000 people.
Mhm.
So we would need to add an additional 20, 30,000 seats to that stadium to make it worthwhile. And then for just a college um, football team wouldn't make much sense. Now I'm not saying we should get an NFL team.
Mhm.
I think we should start with a baseball, hockey, or basketball
Mhm.
because
Mhm.
those are like the more I don't want to say affordable, but those are the sports that
Yeah.
are looking to grow
Yeah.
the most right now.
Mhm.
So they're pretty aggressive, but I mean that's just my 2 cents on it.
I think that was more like 50 cents.
I know. Hey, he could be an investor if he's not too busy doing Diddy documentaries. He lived in Connecticut. I don't know if he still does. He lived in Farmington.
Oh, wow. Yeah, this is it's an interesting subject, and I'm Mets a Mets. But I could be convinced that putting tax money into a stadium, and it's certainly a better use of money, and it seems like it's actually an investment rather
Mhm.
than where our tax money has been going now, which is pretty much down the drain. So yeah, I mean, if we could stop that money from going down the drain and have an actual investment, that would be cool. I
Right.
would be okay with that. It's not that I object to taxes. It's that I object to having my money just thrown to this so things that I don't approve of.
Yeah.
That's not cool.
Yeah.
You had something you wanted to share.
Yeah, yeah. So, and this is one thing that annoys me about sports in general is it seems to have gotten a lot more political in recent years, especially the NBA. Steve Kerr, who was a coach of the Golden State Warriors, Greg Popovich is coach of the San Antonio Spurs. They're always talking about left-leaning things and how awful this country is whenever they get a chance to. Now, Steve Kerr, I understand his father was assassinated in front of him.
Mm.
Um,
Might have some
so
trauma there.
right, right.
Might be a
Uh,
little trauma. Yeah.
but also, I mean, when you look at the NBA, it is probably the most diverse league in the world when it comes to
Mhm.
athletes. Um, So I get it. It's going to be a little bit more left leaning. But what always drove me crazy is I don't want to hear coaches talking about politics. I don't want to hear athletes talking about politics. I understand it's their freedom of speech. It's just not something I need because they're making so much more money than the rest of us. I don't
Yeah,
I don't
seriously.
I don't want to hear people talk about stuff that it's not going to affect their bottom line like it is regular people. And what drove me crazy is the Hartford Yard Goats, which is a double A affiliate of the Colorado Rockies, posted something, paid for a billboard and put it in front of their stadium. And I'm going to show you guys for people that are watching. But it says, "We are one people, one family, the human family, and what affects one of us affects all of us. I don't know if you can see this right here,
It
but
takes a
this is,
minute. It just takes a minute for
yeah.
the screen sharing to kick in. There we go.
So this billboard was put up right after the incident in ice, the second incident on ice.
Hmm.
And to me, it's just you're a double A team. You're affiliated with a professional team that's based several states away. Why are we getting political? Why are we putting up a billboard to prove that we're woke or to prove that we stand on the side of citizens, illegal immigrants, and all this? Like, it's just, it baffles my mind because I'm not going to want to go to the yard goats now that I know that they're so entrenched in politics. I don't want to take my family there because what else am I going to kind of face, right? Like
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't want to get subjected to any nonsense at the stadium. Like
And you especially
it's
don't want your kids subjected to anything.
right, right. And sports has already, I mean, you've got NHL athletes refusing to do warm-ups if they have to wear the LGBTQ stuff because it
Mhm.
goes against there's so many athletes that are Christian and it goes against their beliefs. And the leagues are trying to force these people to do stuff that is against their beliefs because they're on contract. Well, a lot of these athletes have just taken a stand and said, I'd rather take the fine than wear this
Mhm.
bullshit, whether it's an anti-ICE agenda or a pro-abortion agenda. They just don't want to do it. They don't want to get involved, and they're the athletes are the ones saying we don't want anything to do with politics. So the
Not
question,
exactly why they were hired.
right, right. So the question comes to be, why are these ownership groups trying to put their athletes in compromising positions where they're making it a uniform requirement that these athletes participate in something that are against their beliefs? Why can't they just say, you know what, if the athletes don't want to do it, then we just won't do it in general because it doesn't matter. And then you've got the league coming in and mandating that these teams do it. So now it becomes the
That's
league saying the
unbelievable.
owners have to figure out how to get the athletes to do it. And it's just like, this needs to stop. Let sports be sports. It's an
Mhm.
escape from politics and it's escape from everything else. We've
And it's
already
a
got
bonding thing.
exactly, exactly.
Is,
I
you
don't
know.
I don't want to be lectured. I don't want to see something that I don't want to see just
Mhm.
because I'm watching a game. Like it's just it's gotten out of control. And the fact that a double A affiliate in Hartford is making a mockery of putting themselves front and center in the political
Mhm.
sphere, it just drives me crazy.
Yeah, and I'd say the same thing about, any kind of entertainment stuff. And it's like, you know what, if you feel deeply compelled to come out and, have a political stance about something, and, people have taken a hit for that. I get it. Um,
Hmm.
but just, I Johnny Carson is the example my husband uses all the time. The man picked on everybody. And he was around for a really long time, and he did not, if he did anything with politics, he just harassed both sides evenly. And
Right.
generally, it was his personal stance not to talk politics. Generally
Hmm.
speaking, that was his personal stance. He's like, people aren't here for that. They're here to laugh.
Right.
They're here to have a good time. And that is the thing. I mean, religion is supposed to be something that holds us together.
Hmm.
And it's, I think it can still be that, but there's a lot of people who've just sort of fallen away from doing any kind of religious practice, and I think the whole meaning of religion has been shifting, so that's a whole other conversation I don't want to get into. Sorry, it's the thesis that I'm working on.
I know, no, no.
No, it's like
It's
it's like I'm sorry, I'm getting academic. I apologize to the audience. So, so I'll just move away from that one right now. I don't want to get too philosophical, but yeah, it's we need those things that help bring us together as a community, whatever
mhm.
our religious stance, because sports fans come in lots of different religions.
Right.
That's a very religious sports entertainment. These are things that they're pretty bonding, depending sports, I think in particular, because some people can be offended by some kinds of, like, and there's things you really don't want your kids to see in entertainment.
Right.
Like South Park,
Right.
for example.
Right. Well, at least South Park, at least they lean a little bit more to the right with their humor, and they've even come out and said that we're more libertarian. We kind
Yeah,
of
they're
make fun
pretty
of both.
libertarian.
They
Yeah.
make fun of both sides, but they lean a little bit more to the right on a lot of issues, which is it's great. But yeah, I mean, and you're making a great point because entertainment in general right now, like we're already getting so much thrown in our face from a political sphere. Why is it that they're trying to make politics our entire life? That seems to
Yeah.
be what is going on.
Oh my God. Yeah. Oh God, I couldn't agree with you more. Like, oh my God, sometimes you just need a damn break because this
Yeah.
stuff's really intense. And and it's very much about, human survival. It's not, it's like some people are like, oh, it's just politics. I'm like, dude, this actually affects your life.
Hmm.
We really are talking about the survival of our whole culture here.
Yeah.
It's like it, there's all sorts of conversations to be had about that one, but it's like, yeah,
Yeah.
but we need a break because we're human.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you can't live in this anger, frustration mode all the time. You gotta
I
dip your
try
toes out once in a while.
I tried watching the Grammys on Sunday night.
Oh, you
Um,
brave human being. I wouldn't
I
do
know. I know. Well, I
what got
shut it
into you.
off. I shut it off after Trevor Noah, who was hosting, made a comment about Cardi B not being there and that nobody had to, or not Cardi B, Nicki Minaj not being there, so nobody had to worry because she was too busy with Trump. And it's like it's so easy to dunk on somebody that's not in the room with you for one, but for two,
Yeah.
why are you bringing up the president and Nicki Minaj as if it's a bad thing that she has views that are different from you? I just I don't I can't stand how they demonize people that don't think the same as them, and they
Mhm.
want to shove it in our face every chance they get, and then they're wondering why are ratings going so low? Because
We can figure it out. That's the funny
you're
part. Like,
you're isolating everybody that's not on your team essentially.
yeah.
And then movies are out of control, Netflix content like
Oh,
they
yeah.
need
Cancel
to
Netflix like sometime in the beginning of last year. I couldn't do it anymore.
I think they need to redo the rating system. You know how it's like MA, R,
Uh-huh.
NC-17. So I think what they should do is they should have one rate and then a second rate for how much political activity is involved in it.
Okay. I'm in. I'm in.
Right? So
Yeah.
how much wokeism or how much of this movie is going to have political talking points that you might not agree with in it? Um, and it could be a scale of like 1 through 5 or something. So it could be like a rated R movie with a 5 level politics. Chances are it's probably a documentary style movie or an autobiography about like John F. Kennedy getting killed, right?
Yeah.
That could be an R and a 5, but when you got a kids like a DreamWorks picture, I want that to be a 1, not a 3, not a 4, not a 2. It should be a 1 on the political spectrum, and
Mhm.
then a 5 for family friendly or G or PG.
Right.
Uh,
Right.
I think,
I think I like this. I think I like
yeah,
this. We could review movies and give them political ratings.
yeah, yeah, that'd be that'd be a nice
Kind
little
of
side
fun.
hustle YouTube channel. Yeah.
Maybe we start throwing that one in.
Right, right. Or we could just do one a week, right? One
Yeah.
movie that we both watch and then kind
Yeah.
of rank it that way. But I
Yeah.
mean, if we start putting labels on content like that, I think A from a and this is the business guy in me, from a marketing perspective, you're going to see people aren't willing to watch certain things,
And
not because
it's very clear feedback there.
right, and it'll be very clear, or Netflix will be able to say, "Why didn't you like this movie? Was it because of this, or was it because of this?" And then you can be
Mm.
like, "Because it was a 5 for politics, and I wasn't warned ahead of time." Like you're like, because you can only see so much in a trailer. So
Uh,
I mean, once these entertainment companies start realizing
mm,
politics needs to die. Like, yeah, it's cool to talk about. Do your fundraisers. Do it quietly. Don't do it on a loud stage.
right.
Let us just enjoy you. I don't want to have to not like you anymore as an artist because you're getting too political.
Yeah, that's so disappointing.
Yeah,
There's so many people that I'm just like, nope, can't watch him anymore. Nope, can't watch him.
right.
Nope, nope, I'm done. Nope, sorry.
I,
Sorry.
and this is the best part though. We're now the bad guys, right? Because we're
Mhm.
not willing to watch these people because we disagree with them. And it's like that's not what is making us not want to watch them. It's the fact that they are so far against us that they don't even see us as people.
Well,
They
yeah,
don't they
yeah.
don't think we really exist, and yet they want our money. So no, I'm not going to spend the money. I'm not going to.
Like, Might be a little contradictory, guys. Just
Right. It's called capitalism. If you don't like something, don't buy it. It's as simple as that. If I don't like what you say, I'm not
Mhm.
going to listen to you. It's quite simple.
Okay. Yeah, 100%. And I think it's not just the thing that kills me is not just the individual movies, but the whole franchises.
Hmm.
Oh my God, what they did to Star Wars. And oh my God, what
Oh
they're
no.
doing to Star Trek. Like the most recent one, I can't even, I saw it definitely a five. Are we on a 1 to 5 scale here?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay, so yeah, definitely a five on the political scale. And I'm like, it's the one about Starfleet Academy. And
Okay.
the whole trailer, I mean, they lost me. There was this scene where the teacher says, it's all about how we relate to each other. I'm like, no, sweetie. If you're going up in space, it's about your freaking competence. That's
Right.
all it's about. Now, that should include people skills, but it's a lot more than how we'll relate to each other and all the
Yeah, all that kumbaya shit. Well, and I saw some people that were like huge fans of the original Star Trek
me. I'm a
who
fan.
said it was progressive, but it wasn't progressive politically. It was just progressive in terms of progressing society. So yeah, there might have been quote unquote left ideas in it, but it wasn't pushing it in your face. It was more, this
It
is
was,
how it should naturally progress, and this is
yeah.
we're going to talk about issues, not force issues to come up
Well,
unnaturally.
what made it cool? What made the original Star Trek cool was it was a whole lot of yeah, okay, so there was a Russian guy, there was an Asian guy, there was a black woman. That
Mhm.
was a big fat hairy deal, by the way. I don't know if you know that story. I should tell you that story if you don't know it. But no one cared what people's skin color was, what their accent was. They didn't, nobody cared. That was
Right,
not the point. It was a group of competent human beings doing a job.
right.
Nothing, the differences were de-emphasized, not emphasized.
Hmm.
And can I tell you the story about Nichelle Nichols? And
Yeah, absolutely.
so she was going to quit. She was going to quit. And she knew Martin Luther King, and Martin Luther King Jr. told her that she needed to stay on the show because she was an icon and people looked up to her. And so she stayed
Mhm.
on the show, which was very
Yeah,
cool. And it was true. And it was just like, it was not skin cut. None of it was a big deal.
right,
These were just, we just got to see them as human beings doing a job. And
right.
it was really cool. And it now this like recent one is like it's all about how different you can be and how we have to accept all the differences. And it's like, no, that's not what it's about. Not remotely.
Yeah, yeah. I'll never understand it, and just like I'll never understand how Hollywood wants to continue to shove these ideas down our throats, but then the amount of Hollywood actors and actresses that get caught doing illegal stuff,
Oh,
um,
yeah, there's an example.
like
Yeah.
vile criminal stuff. It's
Yeah.
like you guys were just telling us how we should live our lives, and that you're some moral kind of litmus test, but you
Mm,
guys have no morals or ethics either. Like
yeah.
Harvey Weinstein, right?
Oh, dear gods, yeah.
And then you've got the guy that played the preacher father. I don't know if you remember the show Seventh Heaven.
Oh,
He got caught with I want to say sexually abusing underage kids or
that is
sexual
apparently quite the thing in Hollywood.
child pornography seems to be quite
Yeah.
popular. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
And it's like I have not delved into the whole Epstein files thing.
mhm.
But yeah, there's a lot of people. And I mean that's one of the things Nicki Minaj has been saying is that it is a pit, that Hollywood is a moral pit.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
And again, like they attack her, but it's like, but you guys aren't defending yourselves. You're not proving that she's wrong.
yeah,
You're
I
just
know.
taking
Yeah.
shots at her. And oh, it's because you can't prove her wrong because look, another week, another celebrity. Like so the question is why does anybody, even if you're on the left, take celebrity serious? If you know
I don't
what they're
know.
doing. I
No.
don't understand these people that are obsessed with reality TV and
Oh,
musicians and artists' life as if like it's some parasocial relationship. It's like you're a nobody to them. Why do you care so much who they're dating, who they voted for, or any of this? Just leave them alone. It's not worth it. Go focus your energy on something completely different, and you realize
Do
how much
something.
better.
Do
Yeah,
something. Go
your
do
life will be
something.
so much better when you stop focusing on celebrities' lives and what they
Yeah.
think about stuff. Like, oh, it just drives me crazy.
Well, this kind of gets into this is why it's actually important to go be productive
Right,
because your life's going to be a lot better. Trust me, it's a lot
right.
be a lot better. Um, are we good with this subject? Because I've
Yeah.
got some stuff I want to chat about
Oh,
too.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. We
Okay.
can shift.
So I want to throw some stuff out. There's two things I want to talk about. And one is we have a little bit of platform discussion on we now have three candidates running for governor. So I'll talk about that a little bit.
Hmm.
And the thing I'm going to keep throwing in is if you are a Republican, get yourself out and vote in the primaries because that's one of the ways that we make sure that we have candidates that we like. And if you hate the candidates, go and be involved in your local RTC. And I know that it's painful and I know it's boring. But this is us, actual people who care about how we live our lives, not being involved somehow, be
Hmm.
involved somehow. RTCs are ideal. That's how you end up getting good candidates because you're recruiting people, hopefully. Not all RTCs think recruitment is a good idea.
Yeah.
It's like, but we need to talk to people about being Republicans. And right now, the Republican Party in Connecticut has a horrendous reputation. People hear that and go, "Oh God, no, get away from me." And I'm not actually
Right.
exaggerating about that. Um, yeah, there is swearing. You mentioned the chairman's name, and I'm not going to say it right now. Um, it's like you mentioned the chairman's name and people start swearing. And
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
yeah, it's not pleasant. But the way you change the party is by being involved in it and changing it in the way that, the way you give some direction here. Because if
Hmm.
we're not in, it's the communists. And they just had they somebody was paying attention, and I think it was Groton where they just voted out a couple of candidates that some people were running the party, and they just got like voted out, and
Good.
they were literally communists. So we have an active communist party in Connecticut. And we have a couple of communist front parties in Connecticut. We can go into that another time, but they're here, and
Yeah.
they came in from New York, and they've been here for decades and decades and decades. And they're small. There's only like 300 or so people in these parties, but they've been running the damn state. And they've gotten into the Republican Party. And the only way they get out is if we go in, see who they are, and get them out.
Yeah.
That's the process. So get yourself out and vote in the primaries. And I know that there's a ton of stuff going on with voter and election integrity. And that's big, and there's a lot of moving parts on that one. Um, we need to have the voter rolls cleaned. So, yes, the Secretary of State has said nothing to see here, move along. Oh, I know what I wanted to say. So there was apparently a meeting, and this is reported on by the Connecticut Sentinel. And
Hmm.
if you're not subscribed to them, you should go do that. Because they're an alternative outlet and they'll give you a little bit different viewpoint. And I sometimes write for them, so that's fun. Um, but yeah, so the Secretary of State had a closed door meeting. I still don't know how the Sentinel managed to have somebody in there that knew what was going on. Um, and basically, the Secretary of State this meeting was all about how everything was fine, and Wanda said it was fine. I'm not actually kidding about Wanda said it was not fine. Said it was fine. And Wanda said everything was fine, and so everything was fine. And if anyone asked any questions, they got shut down. So I will actually throw the article in the show notes so you guys can check it out if you want to. But yeah, so even though we definitely do not have election integrity right now, get out and vote anyway, and especially in the November elections,
Hmm.
because if Trump proved anything, It's that enough people voting can overwhelm a bad system. So that's my spiel on voting right now. And that's not going to go away. I'm going to keep talking about that. So we've got three candidates who have declared for governor right now. We've got Erin Stewart, who was the
Hmm.
she was the mayor of
New Britain,
yeah, and Ryan Fazio, who's been a Republican in the
Greenwich area.
yeah, and he's been in the Senate for a while. Do you know how long he's been in?
He's not. He doesn't look very old, so
Well, he's definitely not. So I don't know that he's a career politician, but um,
take a peek.
I have my thoughts, but they're my personal thoughts. So myself right now. And we have newcomer Betsy McCaughey, whose name is spelled McCaughey. So McCoy, and no, it doesn't look the least bit like it's spelled. So just, get over it. Um, she's been declaring her positions pretty clearly and openly, which thus far what Aaron Stewart and Ryan Fazio have been doing, with one exception, which I'm going to get into, is accurately highlighting the problems in Connecticut, but thus far,
Hmm.
Aaron Stewart hasn't said anything about what she'd do about it.
I know. I know.
And
Fazio has been in office since 2021, by the way.
thank you.
Yes,
Thank you.
5 years.
Per
Well, and you know what's funny though is Aaron Stewart she was the first to come out and say, "Oh, I'm gonna do the exploratory
hmm
whatever to see if I'm gonna run for governor." And all she really did was talk about herself for the longest time.
Yeah.
And it's like
Is
I
there a
don't
hair flip in
really
there?
I don't really care about you. I just want to know what you're going to accomplish. And then you got this guy Ryan, who he's around Aaron Stewart's age. He's younger than me. He's 35 years old.
Okay.
That'd
Okay.
be like me running for governor. I know people had mentioned it at one point, but I'm like, no, um,
A man's got to know his limitations.
not in this state, not right now. But then you've got Betsy, who has the experience politically, right? She's
Mhm.
coming
Yeah,
from New York. She
yeah,
was what, a lieutenant
she was,
governor
yeah, she was lieutenant governor of New York.
in New York, right? Which is a much more left-leaning state than Connecticut is currently, and she
Yeah.
was a Republican in charge of a lot more money than what we're in charge of here in the state. So I think when it comes to somebody that knows how politics works,
hmm
knows how to raise money, knows what it takes to go through a full election cycle on a
hmm
state scale, never mind a town scale,
hmm
I think she's got the upper hand where Ryan and Aaron have only really had to do small geographic areas.
Yeah.
And I don't see the mayor of New Britain knowing plenty of multi-hundred millionaires or billionaires in the state of Connecticut that are going to throw money at her or outside the state. Like,
hmm
there's nothing about her that says she's going to be the next governor versus Betsy has that, I don't want to say that superstar factor, but she has the intangibles.
Well, she's already gotten herself on CNN.
Right,
Yeah, she's already been
right.
on CNN. I can't remember the name of the damn show, unfortunately. But yeah, I'll see if I can figure that out. But
They're all the same show. It's just different hosts. Uh, but well, yeah, I hate to say that, but it's true. I mean, even on Fox News, they're all the same show. It's just different hosts. Yeah, no, I think what's interesting is like we as Republicans can now complain if women on the left don't vote for Betsy because what are you, sexist? You don't want to vote for a woman? You don't think a woman's ready to be in charge of the state of Connecticut?
yeah,
We've already had one woman governor, Jody Rell,
yeah,
who was kind of a de facto governor because Roland basically got caught up in the kickback thing and went to
right.
jail, so she took over. But
We
um,
could vote somebody in. We could vote a woman in.
right, well, we did vote Jody Rell for her second term, but then she just got exhausted and didn't want to do it anymore. So
hmm
now we have the opportunity of somebody that is just as polished as Jody Rell is. Jody Rell was a lieutenant governor. Betsy's a lieutenant governor, different states, different amount of money, but she has that oomph that we need to get that
hmm
huge area of the state in the Greenwich County or Fairfield County area
Yeah,
to
right.
make the push
She
to
lives
vote
in Greenwich.
red.
Yeah, she lives in
Right,
Greenwich.
right, right. So with the amount of money coming from New York into Greenwich already because people move there and live there, it would be really nice for her to uplift the state by tackling that part, which has probably been one of the most left counties in the country.
Yeah.
And if she can have any impact, even if it's a marginal impact, it's really going to help her win the election in the state because it's
Yeah.
not like the governors are winning by all that much here. It's maybe 25 to 30,000 votes, I want to say. I think
And
it was
what's interesting about how, by how much the win happens is that there's a guy, Shiloh Marks, who's been going through voter rolls in all the states. And the interesting thing that he's found is that the majority of it's like there'll be a number of people who were registered like before 2024, say, and
mhm.
he'll go back like I don't know, 4 or 5 years or something like that. And he'll say, okay, this number of people registered in the state. And then, and it's like, oh, and no voter and no particular ID was required in order to do this. And then the number by which the governor and he'll pick representatives or whatever he's looking at is that by the number by which they won is very close to that number of new registrations.
Yeah,
So it's
yeah,
like when I look at a race and you think of a race like Murphy's most recent, where they declared him the winner immediately at 8 o'clock, which
right.
is just weird.
Exit polls, right? Like
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
never understood how they could just declare people winners before a single vote has been counted.
Yeah. Well, they would have, well, see, with the machines, we don't actually know what's being counted. And
Right.
that's a major problem. If you're hand counting votes, you can absolutely start before you got 8 o'clock in the morning, at 9 o'clock, you can start counting the votes that came in. That's fine. That's part of the process. But
Yeah.
with the machines, it's just weird. Yeah, none of that makes any sense. But yeah, and I don't, I like, oh, by the way, Governor Pataki has endorsed Betsy, just as a throwing that out there.
Okay.
But I think, what's really important is ideally we're looking at policy and not
Hmm.
personality. And that's, I've been saying that for 10 years. And, I mean, I get it. People are you like, people love Trump
Hmm.
because he's funny.
Yeah.
Dude's
Yeah.
funny. But it's like we get attached to personalities, and I understand that. And that's probably back to we're thinking about celebrities and stuff. It's like, ooh, that person looks really cool, somewhere in our brain we hook on as if they're our friend
Right.
because our brains don't know the difference. It's like
Right.
someone's on the screen, I was like, oh no, they look really cool. Let's be their friend. Um, but yeah, but we need to be looking at policy and Betsy's had she's come out with stances, and the other two really haven't come out with a stance on X, Y, or Z.
Hmm.
But Fazio did list, and we're gonna kind of walk through this. He came up with a plan to reduce electricity bills. So I want to kind of run through that.
Okay.
And so let's see, he says wants to end or sunset most of the over 50 government programs funded through the public benefits charge, which makes me now want to know exactly what programs are being funded through the public benefits charge, because that sounds like that's probably a good place to start looking for fraud.
Yeah.
Um, so that there's that piece. He wants transparency and accountability in the appropriations. Let's see. He wants a natural gas pipeline from Pennsylvania, and if it doesn't go, then he's talking about it's like, okay, we would take legal action against New York and work with the federal government to protect our state interests under the Interstate Commerce Clause. And it's like, well, Ned Lamont, you could have done that, but they were all wrapped up in
Hmm.
the windmills and stuff and all that kind of lovely thing. He wants the natural gas plant that was supposed to be in Killingly, the Killingly natural gas plant that never went
Yeah.
through. He
Yeah.
wants to re-up that, um, which we need that. If we can have some kind of generating capacity in Connecticut, that would that would be awesome. That would
Right.
that would help bring costs down. Period. End of conversation.
Right.
What we really need is nuclear, but that's going to take a while. So
Hmm.
natural gas is like it's a good option. He wants to end the renewable portfolio standard to allow hydropower and nuclear, which I think that's a good plan. And that's basically how they blocked it was they had this particular standard that says this isn't renewable, and so you can't use it. And it's like all you have to do is change the standards. It's not
Yeah.
that complicated. Um, and he wants to, and there's a couple other things in here, and I will throw a link to this so y'all can read it. Um, one of the things, I've been thinking about is that, what if we had a few more waste to energy plants, like
Yeah.
Wheelabrator in Bridgeport?
Yeah. I don't know how expensive those are to build.
I know they go up a little, they would go up quicker than either a natural gas plant or or a nuclear plant.
Hmm.
Although nuclear, one of the reasons it takes so long is the permitting process, and that was actually why the Killingly plant didn't go through.
Mm.
It's because they blocked it through the permitting process, which was
Jeez.
mindless, but whatever. Um, so yeah, so they go up fairly quickly. The
Hmm.
complaint people usually have is like, oh, scary things in the air. It's like, well, Wheelabrator has a really good process. I mean, they've won awards for how clean they are.
Yeah.
And my stepdaughter used to go to school like basically next door to them at the agriculture school there,
Hmm.
right, in downtown Bridgeport. She never had a bit of problem with her asthma when she was there. And it's asthma. So,
Yeah. Yeah. Meanwhile, there's schools that like up in Enfield that were built over like really toxic uh pieces of land to the point they
oh,
shut the one of the high schools down because I think
wow.
kids were getting seriously sick.
Oh,
But
wow.
But
Okay.
yeah, yeah. So let's complain about what's in the air. Never mind what's below our feet. But what I think one of the funniest things that I can think of is imagine we could vote on public benefits and we knew exactly what was being funded through public benefits and
Hmm.
say it went to a voter registration vote.
Hmm.
If we as voters know what public benefits are going to, how many people do you think are going to vote yes on keeping public benefits? Like seriously, even people on the
It's
left,
like a
like
no-brainer.
it's like this should have been something that we got to vote on and we should
Hmm.
see where the money's going because the fact that there's no information on this, it's
Hmm.
like you're keeping us in the dark. Who the fuck do you think you are? We have a
Hmm.
right to know this information. It is our money. You are making us pay. Let me know where it's going and why it's going there.
Right. And they're pretending, oh, it's your electricity bill. It's like, no, it's not. That's a
Right.
tax.
It is. It is. They've already slipped up and said it multiple times that it's a tax.
Hmm.
And oh, the public benefits goes to this. Like, what do you mean? What is public benefits? How is that benefiting me? I'm the public.
Right.
How how do I get benefited in Tallinn, Connecticut about something you're building in Hartford? That
Hmm.
doesn't benefit me. I don't go to the city. I don't have anything to do with the city. I
Yeah.
live up in the sticks. Give
Now
me a
I
break.
now I really do want to look up what's being funded by that public benefits charge. So I guess that's my homework.
Yeah. Well, so to your point, I wanted to go over some of the votes for the gubernatorial races since 2006.
Sure.
So this was a 2006 was Jody Rel's election. She knocked John Stefano, Di Stefano Jr., who was the Democrat candidate out of New Haven. He was the mayor of New Haven. She
Hmm.
beat him 710,000 to 400,000 votes. That's a
Substantial.
Republican winning by over 300,000 votes. In 2010,
Uh-huh.
Malloy won 567 to 560. That's a 7,000 vote difference. And
Wow.
then,
Get your butt out and vote, man.
right, well, the question is how in 4 years we went from a
I'm-
400,000 or
Yeah.
$300,000 difference to basically it's
Oh, yeah.
a
What were the years on
swing.
that again?
That this was 2006 was the big one for the Republicans with Jody Rell.
Hmm.
2010, Daniel Malloy won against Tom Foley, which was a 567,000 to
Mm-hmm.
560,000. So it was, you're talking, it was legitimately less than 7,000 votes between the two.
Wow.
Then
Wow.
in 2014, Malloy's second election,
Mm-hmm.
also against Tom Foley, it was 554 to 526. So
Wow.
again, that's less than 30,000 votes.
Mm-hmm.
Um, in 2018, it was Ned Lamont just under 700,000. He was at 694.5 to Stefanovsky was at 650. So then it becomes, so 7 becomes 28 becomes 45. And
Mm.
then in 2022, 710,000 to 546,000,
Wow.
Lamont beats Stefanowski. So what we've seen is the Republicans have put out the same person two elections in a row
Mm-hmm.
against the same Democrat,
Yeah.
and the margin has gotten worse, progressively worse as it's gone.
Mm-hmm.
But the question remains is what happened where we went from the Republicans getting 700,000 votes or enough to win to all of
Mm-hmm.
a sudden the next election it's you're saying it's not only a swing but then we lose majority in the state to the point that the Democrats get elected, and it's been kind of neck and neck for years as long as we put somebody new out there. I
Mm-hmm.
think that with those margins
Mm-hmm.
Betsy has a real shot because she's in Greenwich, and
Mm-hmm.
and Ryan Fazio, yeah, he's in Greenwich, but he's a senator. He says a lot of stuff like, I want to do this, but like, does he actually know how to do it? Does he know how complex it is, how expensive it is? Or does somebody like Betsy know the people in Washington
Mm-hmm.
to point, to press her finger on the pulse and say,
Mm-hmm.
I know this person at this department, let's get them up to survey and let's actually take some action because she's already got the connections.
Mm-hmm.
Fazio's just, he's a local state senator. We need somebody that's got an actual state presence that has had to go to the White House, and
Mm-hmm.
she's had to go to the White House, even if she's just a lieutenant governor, she's still part of a
Mm-hmm.
lot of the parties that go to the White House for all those important meetings that they have amongst the governors of the different states. So
Mm-hmm.
um, I like the idea of putting the pipeline here. I've said before how the Democrats kind of squashed it. So that's just a talking point that we've actually covered on the podcast,
Mm-hmm.
which, hey, maybe he's listening to us because this is a lot of what he's saying is stuff that we've covered extensively. Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
so, but I don't know. I don't know what your feelings are on him in comparison to an
Um,
Aaron Stewart or a
I
Betsy.
Yeah, well, I will, full disclosure, I am leaning towards Betsy,
Mhm.
which doesn't mean that I don't keep poking her on X to say, what do you think about this? And I will tag all the candidates and say, can we see what do you think about this? And
Right.
I'm not, it's like, so far, I haven't gotten responses from, no response from Aaron ever.
Hmm.
Ryan Fazio has at least, like I said, he came out with this plan. But every time I've, poked Betsy about something, she's actually given an answer about something. And it's like, I like somebody who responds.
Yeah.
This is like, and I think this kind of comes down to, one of the issues with candidates now is like, we have because of social media, because we have podcasts, ours is very small still, but we're growing. And think about Trump. He went on all these podcasts. He went on Joe Rogan. That was a huge deal because if you sit and talk to people, then people get to know who you are. It stops being, I want my politicians to be more than a talking point. And thus
Right.
far, Fazio and Stewart have been talking points, whereas Betsy has not. And so I am inclined to lean in her direction. I am willing to see good competition.
Sure.
And, but the other thing I'm going to say here, this is its caveat, is, and not against, Betsy, but whatever Republican wins or is anointed by the party, which I'm not that excited about that process either. I'd like to see an actual primary, but that's only going to happen if the delegates can't come to an adequate agreement. So I don't know if we're going to have primary. We may not. So it's really gonna depend on what happens there. Um, and it's all behind closed doors, of course. So don't get me
Well,
started on that process either. Um,
well,
but
aren't the Democrats even trying to go after Lamont's seat as well?
I don't know. I don't
I
I don't know what's going on with there. I don't know. I know that somebody's trying to primary Rosa DeLauro.
uh-huh.
But that's the only thing I know for sure about the Democrats. So
Interesting.
yeah,
I thought I had seen that there were some people that wanted him out of office
that could be.
within his own
But
party. And to me, that is how are we not pushing that agenda? The Demo the Democrats want their own guy out of office.
yeah.
And that's where the Republicans need to come in. Doesn't matter who it is, just fill that gap. Like all three of them could jump on that real quick
Hmm.
and make it a point of emphasis. Like, hey, they don't even want their own person in. Like, what makes you think the next person is going to do any better?
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, I don't know. I haven't heard anything about that. But yeah, so whoever ends up being the Republican candidate, and I know who I would like,
Hmm.
I will be showing up at the polls in November. Actually, I'll probably be working at the polls again because I did that the last time, and it's a good thing to do. I will be voting for whoever the Republican candidate is because at least if they're a Republican, if they win, we can yell at them legitimately. And
Hmm.
right now, it's like we have no voice at all. Like my rep for Derby and Sonia, I could write to her until I'm blue in the face, and she's not gonna pay any attention to me because I'm a Republican. So,
Right. Right. Well, and I think what's interesting about Betsy too is she's been a part of both the Democrats and the Republican Party.
mm-hmm.
So when she was lieutenant governor, I believe
That's
she
that.
was a Republican, and then she switched from 1997 to 2010 to the Democratic Party, and
Mm-hmm.
then switched back. So there, it felt like that made a lot of sense for certain Republicans to switch to the left in that
Mm-hmm.
10-year period.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it was more or less because they didn't like war, and that's why they switched to the left.
Mm-hmm.
Now, but then obviously once Obama comes in, people switched back because he was so pro bombing everybody. Um, so I think for her, that's a strength in a state like Connecticut where we are more left leaning on a lot of issues, but we're also a very confused politically adjacent state where
Mm-hmm.
it seems like it used to be the governor was Republican and then our senators, the US senators were Democrat. So we were
Mm-hmm.
like conservative on the state front, but Democratic on the national front.
Yeah.
She would fit that model because she's coming in as not only a conservative but somebody who has spent time on the left,
Right.
which shows she can speak to a lot of these voters on the left.
Mm-hmm.
I have a feeling that we finally will get another woman governor in the state of Connecticut with her. That's just yeah, everything is just lining up politically
Mm-hmm.
for her to win, and I'm not going to tell people who to vote for, but. I, it's do you want somebody that's actually served in a gubernatorial position
Mm-hmm.
or somebody that is 37 or 35
Mm-hmm.
that have barely been in politics and even if they've been in politics it's never been on a large scale like what she's done
Mm-hmm.
so
Right. Yeah. It's interesting because part of the reason I like her is because I met her in person. Um,
mhm,
and she is going to show up at one of the grassroots events that we're doing on Saturday. And it's and I invited her and she said, okay, I will be happy to be there. I'm like, sweet. Um,
yeah
and but I drove up to it's like before she declared, I had driven up to Mansfield to hear her speak about HB 8002, which is that's the housing bill that went through that it's like that's another whole conversation.
mhm,
Boy, I'd like to get somebody from, Connecticut 169 to come and talk to us about that on the podcast. That would be cool. Because they'll give us a lot more detail. And
mhm,
and I just, it's it's helpful to be in someone's presence to get a feel for who they are. And it's like, yeah, she's a politician, but
mhm.
she's also, her energy felt sincere to me. That's
Right.
there's people who are polished about how they speak, they're used to speaking in public and they stand up and they're confident. And that is different from someone who stands up and is just giving you a line.
Yeah.
She believes what she's saying.
Yeah. Yeah. She's got a backbone.
Yeah. Yeah. And
That's what it
she's
comes down
got skin
to.
in the game.
Yeah.
She got family here. She got grandchildren here. She wants a future for her grandchildren. She wants,
Right.
she grew up in this state. She grew up in Milford.
Right. Well, and you know what? If she had Megyn Kelly as her lieutenant governor,
Oh, wouldn't
I
that
th
be shiny?
I think so many people, but I think what I had seen is Megyn Kelly might run for U.S. senator in the state.
That'd be cool.
Um, because for the same reason, that's why she moved here, is because Connecticut does have a very good opportunity for families, young families, whether it's
Yeah.
the education system or anything else. Like I will give the state credit, like they have built a really nice part of the country for people to live in and grow up in, although
It's a
it's
beautiful
ungodly
state. Oh my
expensive,
God,
but
Connecticut is such a great little state.
right.
It's gorgeous here. It really
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. So are we there?
I think we are.
Okay. All right. You want to take us out?
Uh,
Yeah.
what do you normally do? Just a thank you for listening. Thank you for
Well,
watching.
the God bless America, God bless Connecticut thing.
Oh, I don't do that.
Oh, then I'll do it.
I don't do that.
I'll do that. It matters to me, so I'm going to say it. So God
Okay.
bless America. God bless Connecticut. And thank you for listening. And this has been loads of fun. And we will see you on the next round.
Sounds good. Yeah, I don't want to get stricken down by saying God, so that's why I'm like I might catch on fire if I say God bless anything.
All right, fair enough.
Yeah.
I don't, I'm not going there right now. Remember, theologian. Oh, I'm
Yeah.
not sure which. So, okay. Good night, everybody. Have a good
Good
night.
night.